The pregnancy test said positive. The billionaire said it was impossible. But the DNA results changed everything. I'm standing in the most expensive bathroom I've ever seen, marble floors, gold fixtures, a mirror that probably costs more than my car, staring at two pink lines that are about to destroy my life. Pregnant. The word doesn't feel real. It can't be real. Because 6 weeks ago, the man who got me pregnant told me he was medically infertile. The doctors had been certain. 0 chance of children. Ever. Which means either he lied to manipulate me, or I'm carrying a miracle that's going to look like the world's most calculated trap. Either way, I'm a 21-year-old cleaning woman with a positive pregnancy test and a billionaire's baby growing inside me, and I have absolutely no idea how to survive what comes next. Let me back up and tell you how I got here. Because this story? It's insane. And it's true. And it started 3 months ago when I was completely invisible. 3 months earlier. The fluorescent lights buzz above me like angry wasps as I push my cleaning cart down the executive corridor of Sterling Tech. It's 11:47 p.m. on a Tuesday, and the building is a ghost town, just the way I like it. My name is Aaliyah Thompson, and I'm a shadow. A ghost. The invisible woman who scrubs away the evidence of other people's success while they sleep in beds that cost more than my annual salary. I've been doing this for 8 months now, working retail from 9 to 5, then cleaning offices from 11 p.m. to 7 a.m. Somewhere in between, I'm supposed to attend community college, complete assignments, and pretend I'm not slowly dying from exhaustion. But I can't complain. Complaining doesn't pay for my mother's insulin. Mama's diabetes got bad last year, the kind of bad that comes with medical bills that make you physically sick when you open them. So I took this night job, and I stopped sleeping, and I started living on coffee and dreams of a different life. Tonight, I'm on the top floor, the executive level where people make more money in a day than I'll see in a year. I've got my earbuds in, Lauryn Hill keeping me company, and I'm moving through my routine on autopilot. That's when I reach the corner office. The nameplate says Dominic Hayes, and I assume it's empty like always. I push open the door, roll my cart inside, and head straight for the half-dead plant in the corner. These rich people can't even keep a plant alive, I think, shaking my head. I grab my water bottle and start pouring. That's when my hand slips. Water cascades across the massive desk like a waterfall, soaking papers, pooling around a laptop, spreading toward what looks like important documents. Oh God. Oh no. No, no, no. My heart stops. I've been written up twice this month already. One more strike and I'm fired. One more strike and Mama doesn't get her medication. My hands are shaking so badly I can barely grab the cloths from my cart. I'm dabbing frantically at the papers, trying to save them, whispering apologies to the empty room. I'm so sorry. Please don't be ruined. Please, please, please. It's just water. I scream. Actually scream. I spin around, clutching my chest, and that's when I see him for the first time. He's sitting in the shadows by the window. How did I not notice him, watching me with an expression I can't quite read? He's younger than I expected, maybe early 30s, with dark hair that's slightly messy like he's been running his hands through it. His tie is loosened, his sleeves are rolled up, and there's something in his eyes. Something tired. Something lonely. Something I recognize because I see it in my own mirror every morning. I'm so sorry, sir, I stammer, still trying to clean up the mess with shaking hands. I didn't know anyone was here. I thought, I'll fix this right now. Please don't report this. I really, really need this job. He stands up, he's tall, really tall, and walks toward the desk. I brace myself for the yelling, for the threats, for the cold dismissal I've learned to expect from people in buildings like this. Nothing important got wet, he says quietly, looking at the damp papers. Then he looks at me, really looks at me, like I'm a person instead of furniture, and asks the strangest question, "Are you okay?" I blink. Am I? I'm fine. I'm really sorry, sir. It won't happen again. How long have you been working tonight? The question throws me completely off balance. Since 11. I'll be done around 6. His eyebrows rise. That's 7 hours. Do you do this every night? I should grab my cart and leave before this conversation gets weirder. But there's something about the way he's looking at me, not through me, not past me, but at me, that makes me answer honestly. 5 nights a week. I'm in school during the day. I don't know why I add that last part. Maybe I need him to know I'm more than this. More than a cleaning woman who spills water and apologizes. What are you studying? And just like that, something shifts. A door opens that neither of us planned on walking through. Graphic design, I hear myself say. I'm at community college right now, but I'm hoping to transfer to a university next year if I can save enough. He smiles, and it transforms his entire face. That's ambitious. Working nights and studying days. Yeah, well. I shrug, feeling suddenly self-conscious. Bills don't pay themselves. I'm Dominic, by the way. He extends his hand like we're equals, like he doesn't notice the cleaning cart between us or the mop in my hand. Aaliyah. I shake his hand, and his grip is warm and firm and nice. Really nice. I should let you get back to work, Dominic. I start to back toward my cart, but I don't actually want to leave. Which is crazy. Which is dangerous. Do you take breaks? The question hangs in the air between us. I should say no. I should grab my cart and disappear back into invisibility where I'm safe. Instead, I hear myself say, yeah. Around 2 a.m. usually. Coffee, he asks, and there's something hopeful in his eyes that mirrors the foolish hope rising in my chest. Coffee, I agree. And that's how it starts. With spilled water and an unexpected question and 2 lonely people finding each other in the middle of the night. I tell myself it's harmless. We're just talking. 2 people who keep odd hours, having conversations during my breaks. That's all. But over the next few weeks, those conversations become the best part of my day. Or night. Whatever. I learn that Dominic works insane hours, that he's under enormous pressure I don't fully understand, that he's lonely in a way that has nothing to do with being alone. He learns about my mother, about my dreams, about my frustration with professors who can't see past my circumstances to my actual talent. We talk about everything and nothing. Music and movies and the meaning of success. He makes me laugh, really laugh, in a way I haven't in months. He remembers details from previous conversations. He asks about my mother's health and actually cares about the answer. I don't know what he does here exactly. I assume he's a manager or something, maybe a VP who keeps weird hours. He's clearly wealthy, his watch alone probably costs more than my car, but he doesn't act like the executives I usually encounter. He doesn't look through me like I'm invisible. He sees me. Really sees me. And God help me, I start to fall for him. It's stupid. It's reckless. It's dangerous in every possible way. But my heart doesn't care about logic. The night everything changes. 3 months into our midnight friendship, Sterling Tech throws a massive celebration. Some huge deal was closed, billions of dollars, someone mentioned, and even the night staff got bonuses. $200 appears in my paycheck, which feels like a fortune. I can pay for Mama's medication this month without choosing which other bill to skip. I stay late to clean up the party mess, working my way through discarded champagne glasses and catering trays. By the time I reach the top floor, it's past 1 a.m. and I'm exhausted. But when I reach Dominic's office, I find him there, and something is very wrong. His tie is completely undone. There's a glass of whiskey in his hand. He's standing at the window, staring out at the city like it personally betrayed him. He looks broken. Rough celebration? I ask softly, announcing my presence. He turns, and the raw pain on his face makes my breath catch. They kept toasting to the future, he says, his voice rough. To legacy. To building something that lasts. He laughs, but it's the most bitter sound I've ever heard. They don't know I'm the end of the line. That everything I build dies with me. I set down my cleaning supplies and walk closer, forgetting every professional boundary. What do you mean? That's when he tells me everything. About the illness at 19 that nearly killed him. About the aggressive treatment that saved his life but destroyed his fertility. About doctors who told him, with absolute medical certainty, that he would never, ever have children. About building an empire to fill the void where family should be. About the crushing weight of knowing everything he creates has no one to pass it to. And then, this is the part that makes my world tilt sideways, he tells me who he really is. Not a manager. Not a VP. Dominic Hayes. The founder. The 34-year-old billionaire CEO whose name is literally on the building I've been cleaning for 8 months. I should feel betrayed. Lied to. But all I feel is this crushing wave of heartbreak for this man who has everything except the one thing he wants most. I'm so sorry, I whisper, meaning it with every cell in my body. Don't be sorry for me. He turns to face me fully, and the intensity in his eyes makes my pulse race. These past few months, talking with you, that's the only time I've felt like life was worth more than work and obligations. You see me, Aaliyah. The real me. Not the money, not the name. Just me. The space between us feels electric. Wrong. Impossible. I'm a cleaning woman with student debt and a dying mother. He's a billionaire who could buy my entire world without checking his account balance. But when he steps closer, when he reaches out and touches my face with devastating gentleness, none of it matters. Tell me to stop, he whispers, and I will. I should. God, I should. Instead, I kiss him. That night, we cross every line that separates our worlds. In his office, with the city lights sprawling beneath us like scattered diamonds, we come together with desperate urgency. He touches me like I'm precious, like I'm the miracle instead of the impossibility he thinks he is. It's beautiful and intense and feels like both a beginning and an ending. Afterward, lying in his arms in the quiet darkness, reality creeps back in with cruel efficiency. This can't continue. Fairy tales aren't real. Poor girls don't end up with billionaires. I have too much pride to become someone's secret, someone's scandal, someone's late-night mistake that his family would be horrified to discover. So when morning comes, when the first light starts painting the sky, I make a decision. I kiss him goodbye, our real goodbye, though he doesn't know it yet. And then I quit. I send an email to HR citing personal reasons. I block his number before he can try to change my mind. I delete the route to Sterling Tech from my GPS. I pick up extra shifts at my retail job to replace the lost income. I try to forget Dominic Hayes and the impossible thing that happened between us. I try to move on. 6 weeks later. Which brings me back to this bathroom. This expensive, ridiculous bathroom in my best friend's apartment, because I couldn't take the test at home where Mama might find it. 2 pink lines. Pregnant. I'm pregnant with a billionaire's baby, and he told me he was infertile, and this is either a miracle or the world's most perfect trap, and I have no idea what to do. I slide down the bathroom wall and pull my knees to my chest, the pregnancy test still clutched in my shaking hand. How is this possible? The doctors told him it was impossible. He was so certain, so broken by that certainty. Which means either A. He lied to manipulate me into unprotected sex, but everything in my gut says that's not who he is. B. This is a genuine medical miracle, which sounds insane. C. This baby isn't his, which I know with absolute certainty isn't true because he's the only person I've been with in over a year. So, miracle it is. The impossible thing that's going to look like the most calculated gold digger move in history. My best friend Keisha knocks on the door. Girl, you've been in there 20 minutes. What's going on? I open the door and hand her the test. She looks at it. Looks at me. Looks at the test again. Oh, shit. Yeah. Is it that guy you were seeing? The one from your night job? Yeah. The one you said you broke things off with? Yeah. Aaliyah. Keisha grabs my shoulders. You need to tell him. I can't. The tears start falling now, hot and fast. Keisha, you don't understand who he is. What this is going to look like. I don't care if he's the president. He got you pregnant. He deserves to know. He told me he was infertile, I sob. The doctors said it was impossible. So now I'm going to show up pregnant and everyone's going to think I trapped him or lied or... Did you trap him? No. Did you lie? No. Then tell him the truth and let him decide what to do with it. Keisha pulls me into a hug. You can't handle this alone, girl. And you shouldn't have to. I spend 3 days trying to handle it alone anyway. I apply for government assistance. I pick up a third part-time job doing data entry from home. I research adoption agencies even though the thought makes me physically ill. I look into abortion services even though I know I can't go through with it. But mostly, I carry this secret like a stone in my chest, getting heavier every hour. Keisha is right. I need to tell him. Not because I expect anything, I don't. How could I? He's a billionaire and I'm me. But he deserves to know. Even if knowing destroys whatever memory he has of me. Even if he thinks I'm lying or trapping him or running some kind of con. He deserves to know he's going to be a father. Even if it's impossible. Finding his private contact information takes some work, but I finally get it from a former coworker at Sterling Tech. I type out the message 17 times before I find the courage to hit send. It's Aaliyah. I need to talk to you. It's important. I expect to wait days for a response. Maybe weeks. Maybe forever. My phone buzzes in less than 60 seconds. Where are you? I'll come now. We meet at Rose's coffee shop, a tiny place in my neighborhood where nobody will recognize him. Where his expensive suit will stick out like a sore thumb, but at least we'll have privacy. I get there early and order coffee I can't afford, just to have something to do with my hands. I've rehearsed this conversation 100 times. I've practiced staying calm, staying strong, making it clear I don't want anything from him. But when I see him walk through the door, when I see the concern written all over his face, the relief at seeing me mixed with confusion and something that looks like hope, all my carefully prepared words evaporate. He looks terrible. There are dark circles under his eyes. He's lost weight. And when he spots me, the expression on his face is so raw it hurts to witness. He slides into the booth across from me, and I can see his hands are shaking. I've been looking for you, he says without preamble. You quit. You blocked my number. I went to your old address, but your neighbor said you'd moved. Aaliyah, I thought, his voice cracks. I thought I'd never see you again. I'm pregnant. The words come out like a gunshot. Sudden. Violent. Final. All the color drains from Dominic's face. He goes completely still, like someone hit pause on a video. The silence stretches between us, suffocating and horrible. I know what the doctors told you, I continue, my voice shaking. I know this seems impossible. I know how this looks. But I swear to you, I didn't plan this. I didn't trap you. I didn't even know if I was going to tell you, but I thought you should know before I figure out what to do next. I don't want anything from you. I just... Stop. His voice cuts through my rambling, and I brace myself for the accusations. For the denial. For the lawyers and the cold dismissal. What I get instead destroys me completely. Tears. This powerful billionaire, this man who probably commands boardrooms and builds empires, sits across from me in a coffee shop in the hood and cries. Not quiet tears. Not dignified tears. Full body sobs that shake his shoulders and make other customers stare. Say something, I whisper, terrified. Please. I never thought. His voice breaks into pieces. They told me it was impossible. I built my whole life around that impossibility. I made peace with never being a father. And you're telling me? He reaches across the table with shaking hands and cups my face in his palms. His thumbs brush away tears. I didn't realize I was crying. You're telling me there's a baby? Our baby? Yes, but I understand if you don't believe me. I know this sounds. Marry me. I actually laugh. A sound somewhere between hysteria and disbelief. What? No. Dominic, you don't have to do that. I'm not asking you for anything. I know our worlds are. I know you're not asking. That's exactly why I'm asking you. And then this man, this billionaire who could have anyone, who lives in a world I can barely comprehend, slides out of his chair and kneels beside me. Right there in Rose's coffee shop. Not caring that people are staring. Not caring that someone might take a picture. Not caring about anything except me. Aaliyah, he says, his voice raw with emotion, these past 6 weeks without you have been torture. I was trying to find you to tell you that our worlds don't matter. That what we had was real. And now you're telling me you're carrying a miracle. The child I was told I'd never have. Please. Please give me a chance to love you both the way you deserve. Your family will hate me, I say, but my hands are covering his, holding on for dear life. Then we'll face them together. His eyes hold such certainty, such desperate hope. I'm not saying it'll be easy. But I'm saying it'll be worth it. You already gave me something I thought was impossible. Let me spend the rest of my life grateful for that. The coffee shop has gone completely silent. Everyone is watching us, this impossible scene unfolding. Dominic. I don't know what to say. This feels like a dream. Like I'm going to wake up any second in my tiny apartment, still pregnant and still alone. Just say yes, he whispers. Say yes, and we'll figure everything else out together. And maybe it's the hormones. Maybe it's the exhaustion. Maybe it's the fact that I've been in love with him since that first spilled water conversation. Yes, I whisper. He kisses me right there in front of everyone, and the coffee shop erupts in applause. But I barely hear it over the pounding of my own heart, wondering what the hell I just agreed to. 3 days after Dominic's proposal in the coffee shop, I'm sitting in the back of a car that costs more than my mother's house, trying not to throw up. Morning sickness, the doctor called it. But it's 3 p.m. and I've been nauseous for 6 hours straight, so that's clearly a lie. We can reschedule, Dominic says for the 15th time, holding my hand. If you're not feeling well, we don't have to do this today. Yes, we do. I take a shaky breath. The longer we wait, the worse it'll be. We're on our way to meet his family. The Hayes family. Old money, high society, the kind of people who appear in Forbes and have wings of hospitals named after them. And I'm about to walk in there, a pregnant cleaning woman with a high school diploma and a Target dress, and tell them I'm marrying their golden boy. This is going to be a disaster. The car pulls up to an estate, because of course it's an estate, not just a house, and my stomach drops to my feet. Oh my God, I whisper, staring at the mansion through the window. Dominic, this is a castle. You grew up in a literal castle. It's not a castle, he says, but he's smiling. It's just a house. It has columns. And a fountain. That's not a house, that's another wave of nausea hits me. I'm going to be sick. Breathe, he says gently, rubbing my back. Just breathe. They're going to love you. They're going to think I trapped you. Then I'll make it very clear that you didn't. His voice goes hard. Aaliyah, look at me. I turn to face him, and the intensity in his eyes takes my breath away. You are carrying a miracle. My miracle. Our miracle. Anyone who can't see that is a fool, and I don't care if they're family. You are my priority now. You and this baby. Not their approval, not their opinions. You. Understand. I nod, not trusting my voice. Good. He kisses my forehead. Now let's go show them what real strength looks like. The inside of the house is somehow even more intimidating than the outside. Crystal chandeliers. Marble floors. Artwork that probably belongs in museums. Everything is pristine and perfect and screams you don't belong here. A woman who must be the housekeeper, and oh God, that could have been me in another life, leads us to a sitting room where the Hayes family is waiting. They're all there. All of them. Like this is an intervention instead of a family meeting. Dominic's mother, Patricia Hayes, sits in a chair that might as well be a throne. She's beautiful in that preserved, expensive way, perfect hair, perfect makeup, perfect posture. Her smile doesn't reach her eyes. His father, Richard Hayes, stands by the fireplace looking like he just stepped out of a board meeting. Cold. Assessing. Already calculating. His siblings are arranged on various furniture like they're posing for a family portrait. 2 brothers, one older, one younger, and a sister, all watching me with barely concealed skepticism. And in the corner, almost hidden in shadow, is an elderly woman who must be at least 80. She's watching me with sharp, intelligent eyes that miss absolutely nothing. Mother, father, Dominic says, his hand firm on my lower back. This is Aaliyah Thompson. My fiancée. The temperature in the room drops about 20 degrees. Patricia's smile becomes even more fake. How lovely to meet you, dear. I extend my hand, trying to remember everything Keisha coached me on. Firm handshake. Eye contact. Don't let them see you're terrified. It's nice to meet you, Mrs. Hayes. Her handshake is brief and cold, like touching a snake. Richard steps forward next, and his handshake is somehow even worse, perfunctory, dismissive, like I'm not worth the effort. Miss Thompson. His voice is neutral, but his eyes are doing a full inventory. Calculating my net worth, my background, my value. And finding me severely lacking. Dominic's older brother, Marcus, no wait, Maxwell, clears his throat. So, Aaliyah. How did you and Dominic meet? It's a trap. I can hear the trap in the question. I worked at Sterling Tech, I say carefully. Night shift. Cleaning. You could hear a pin drop. Patricia's smile freezes completely. Richard's eyebrows rise to his hairline. The siblings exchange looks that clearly say gold digger. How industrious, Patricia finally says, and the condescension drips from every syllable. And you're engaged to my son after, how long? 3 months, I say, lifting my chin. I won't apologize for who I am. I won't. 3 months, she repeats. That's quite fast. There's a reason for that, Dominic says, his voice tight with warning. Aaliyah is pregnant. If the room was cold before, it's Arctic now. Patricia stands up so fast her chair scrapes against the floor. Pregnant? Yes. With your child? Yes. Dominic. Richard's voice is sharp. A word. In private? No. Dominic's arm tightens around my waist. Anything you have to say, you can say in front of Aaliyah. Fine. Patricia's mask drops completely, revealing the Ice Queen beneath. This is clearly a setup. You were told you were infertile, Dominic. The doctors were certain. So either this girl is lying about the baby being yours, or it's a miracle, the elderly woman in the corner says, her voice cutting through the tension like a knife. Everyone turns to look at her. She stands up slowly, using a cane for support, and makes her way across the room. This must be Eleanor Hayes, Dominic's grandmother. The matriarch. She stops in front of me, studying my face with those sharp eyes. Let me see your hand, child. I extend my hand, not sure what she's looking for. She takes it in both of hers, and her skin is papery and soft. You're terrified, she observes. Yes, Of us? Yes, Good. That means you're smart. She smiles, and it's the first genuine smile I've seen since entering this house. But you're here anyway. That means you're brave. She turns to face the rest of the family, still holding my hand. My grandson has been dead inside for 15 years, she says bluntly. Ever since the illness. Ever since the doctors told him he'd never have children. He built an empire to fill the void, but anyone with eyes could see he was dying a slow death. She squeezes my hand. In the 5 minutes I've been watching them, I've seen him touch her 4 times. Protective touches. Loving touches. The way his father used to touch his mother before she forgot what love looked like. Patricia flinches. This girl is pregnant, Eleanor continues. And whether you want to believe it or not, that baby is a miracle. So we have 2 choices. We can welcome her with grace and gratitude, or we can be fools who push away the best thing that's ever happened to this family. Before I continue, please hit the subscribe button. She looks at Patricia pointedly. What's it going to be, Patricia? The silence stretches like taffy. Finally, Patricia sits back down, her face carefully neutral. A paternity test. Before we make any decisions, we need medical proof. Fine, Dominic says immediately. We'll do the test. But I want it on record right now, that baby is mine, and Aaliyah is going to be my wife. Your cooperation is appreciated but not required. Richard clears his throat. Dominic, be reasonable. This woman worked as your cleaner. You barely know her. Don't you think this is all rather? Rather what, father? Dominic's voice could cut glass. Rather impossible? Like my recovery from an illness that should have killed me? Like building a billion-dollar company before I turned 30? Like falling in love with a woman who sees past my bank account to who I actually am? He looks around the room, meeting each family member's eyes. I've spent 15 years being the perfect son, the perfect CEO, the perfect Hayes. Building your empire, attending your events, living up to your expectations. And I've been miserable. But these past few months with Aaliyah? That's the first time I've remembered what happiness feels like. His voice softens as he looks at me. She makes me want to be better. Not richer, not more successful. Better. Kinder. More human. So yes, we're doing this fast. Yes, it's unconventional. But I'm not letting her go. I'm crying. I can't help it. Hearing him defend me like this, seeing him stand up to his family for me, it's overwhelming. Eleanor is smiling like she just won the lottery. Well said, my boy. Well said. Patricia looks like she's been slapped. But there's something else in her eyes too. Something that might be grudging respect. Fine, she says stiffly. We'll do the paternity test. And if, when, it proves the child is yours, we'll discuss next steps. There's nothing to discuss, Dominic says firmly. I'm marrying her. The only question is whether you'll be there to celebrate or not. The DNA test. The appointment for the paternity test is scheduled for 2 days later at the most expensive medical facility I've ever seen. Dominic insists on coming with me, holding my hand through the entire process. The doctor, some specialist his mother insisted on, explains that they'll be doing a non-invasive prenatal paternity test using my blood. It's completely safe for the baby, she assures us. We'll compare the fetal DNA in your blood to Mr. Hayes' DNA. Results typically take about a week. A week of waiting. A week of his family thinking I'm a liar. A week of doubt hanging over our heads. But Dominic never wavers. Never once questions whether the baby is his. I know she's mine, he tells me that night as we're lying in bed in his penthouse. I feel it. Does that sound crazy? No, I whisper, my hand on my still flat stomach. It doesn't sound crazy at all. The results. 1 week later, we're back in that same sitting room at the Hayes estate. All of them are there again, plus the doctor, who's holding a manila envelope like it contains nuclear codes. I feel like I'm going to throw up, and it has nothing to do with morning sickness. Before we open this, Eleanor says, looking directly at Patricia, I want everyone to remember, this is a child we're talking about. Not a problem to be solved or a scandal to be managed. A child. Your grandchild, Patricia. Your niece or nephew, she says to the siblings. Family. Patricia's lips thin, but she nods. The doctor opens the envelope with clinical efficiency. The results of the non-invasive prenatal paternity test are conclusive. There is a 99.9% probability that Dominic Hayes is the biological father of the fetus. The room erupts. That's impossible, Richard says. At the exact same time Patricia gasps, but the doctors said. The doctors said it was highly unlikely, the specialist interrupts, reading from her notes. Mr. Hayes underwent aggressive chemotherapy at age 19 for lymphoma. The treatment typically causes permanent infertility, yes. However, in approximately 0.1% of cases, some viable sperm production can recover years later. It's extraordinarily rare, but not impossible. She looks up at Dominic with something like awe. Your fertility recovered against astronomical odds. This pregnancy is medically unexplained but genetically confirmed. Congratulations, Mr. Hayes. You're going to be a father. Dominic's hand tightens around mine so hard it almost hurts. But when I look at his face, he's crying. A miracle, he whispers. You gave me a miracle. We made a miracle, I correct him softly. Patricia is staring at the test results like they're written in a foreign language. This is... I don't understand. The doctors were so certain. Medicine isn't perfect, the specialist says gently. Sometimes the human body surprises us. Sometimes miracles happen. Richard is the first to recover, and to my shock, he walks over to us and extends his hand to me. Really extends it this time, not the dismissive handshake from before. Welcome to the family, Aaliyah, he says, and he actually sounds like he means it. I apologize for doubting you. Patricia is slower to move, but eventually she stands and walks over. She doesn't apologize. I get the sense that's not something Patricia Hayes does, but she looks at my still flat stomach with something that might be wonder. A baby, she whispers. A Hayes baby. I thought I'd never. And then she surprises me completely by starting to cry. Not delicate tears. Real, messy, overwhelming sobs. I'm sorry, she gasps, pressing her hands to her face. I'm so sorry. We were told he'd never have children. That the Hayes line would end with him. And I've been grieving that for 15 years, and now you're telling me. Dominic stands and hugs his mother, and I can see the shock on everyone's faces. Apparently this family doesn't do hugs. I know, Mom, he says softly. I know. I've been grieving it too. But Aaliyah gave us both a miracle. When Patricia finally pulls back, she looks at me with red-rimmed eyes. I was horrible to you, she says bluntly. I assumed the worst. I treated you like a con artist instead of, her voice breaks. Instead of the woman carrying my only grandchild. You were protecting your son, I say, because what else can I say? I understand. No, you don't. Patricia shakes her head. But you're gracious enough to say so anyway. That tells me everything I need to know about your character. She takes a shaky breath and does something that shocks me to my core. She takes my hands in hers. I would like to start over, she says formally. If you'll allow it. I would like to get to know the woman my son loves. The mother of my grandchild. I'm crying now too. I'd like that. Eleanor is watching the whole scene with satisfaction. Well, she says briskly. Now that we've established that Aaliyah isn't a con artist, can we please plan a proper welcome to this family? Starting with getting her some decent medical care? No offense, dear, but you look exhausted. I work 3 jobs, I say automatically, then wish I hadn't when I see the horrified looks on everyone's faces. 3 jobs. Maxwell, Or is it the other brother, says. While pregnant. Mama's medical bills don't pay themselves, I say defensively. Dominic's face has gone very still. Aaliyah. Why didn't you tell me you were still working 3 jobs? Because I quit the cleaning job when I quit you, I remind him. I needed to replace the income. You're not working 3 jobs anymore, he says firmly. You're not working ANY jobs. You're pregnant with our child. You need to rest, to focus on school too. I can't just not work, I interrupt. My mother needs. I'll take care of your mother's medical expenses, Richard says, like it's the most obvious thing in the world. All of them. Permanently. I blink at him. What? You're family now, he says simply. Family takes care of family. What's your mother's name? Rose. Rose Thompson. But you can't just. Consider it done. He's already pulling out his phone, typing something. I'm adding her to the Hayes family medical plan. Full coverage, no deductibles, no limits. She'll have access to the best specialists in the country. I'm going to cry again. That's too much. I can't accept. You can and you will, Patricia says, and there's steel in her voice now. My grandchild's maternal grandmother deserves the best care. Besides, you can't be working yourself to death while pregnant. It's bad for the baby. I look at Dominic helplessly, and he's smiling. Let them help, he says softly. Let us be a family. Meeting Mama. 2 weeks later, I bring Dominic to meet my mother. Mama still lives in the same small apartment in the same rough neighborhood where I grew up. It's clean and full of love, but it's a world away from the Hayes estate. I'm terrified. She's going to hate you, I warn Dominic as we pull up in his very expensive car that's definitely going to get broken into in this neighborhood. Why would she hate me? He looks genuinely confused. Because you're rich. Because you got her daughter pregnant. Because she's going to think you're going to hurt me. I would never hurt you. She doesn't know that yet. Mama opens the door before we even knock, because of course she does. She's been watching from the window. She's small, barely 5 feet tall, but she radiates a strength that has nothing to do with size. She's wearing her Sunday best even though it's a Tuesday, and she's holding the wooden spoon she uses when she's nervous or angry. I'm betting on both. Mama, I say, kissing her cheek. This is Dominic Hayes. Dominic, this is my mother, Rose Thompson. Mrs. Thompson. Dominic extends his hand with genuine respect. It's an honor to meet you. Mama looks at his hand for a long moment before shaking it briefly. You the one who got my daughter pregnant? Mama. I hiss. Yes, Dominic says, not even blinking. I am. And you're planning to treat her right? Because let me tell you something, Mr. Hayes, I don't care how much money you have. I don't care about your fancy cars or your big houses. My daughter is worth more than all of that combined. So if you're just playing games. I'm not playing games, Dominic interrupts gently. I love your daughter more than I knew it was possible to love anyone. She and this baby are my whole world. I promise you, Mrs. Thompson, I will spend every day of my life making sure she knows that. Mama stares at him for a long moment, and I hold my breath. Then she nods once. Good. Now come inside and tell me why you're feeding my daughter such fancy food she can't even pronounce. Girl came over last week talking about quinoa. We eat rice in this family. Despite everything, I start laughing. Dinner is both exactly as awkward and as wonderful as I expected. Mama has made her famous pot roast, and watching Dominic, who probably eats at Michelin-star restaurants, genuinely enjoying my mother's home cooking makes my heart swell. This is incredible, Mrs. Thompson, he says, and he means it. I haven't had a home-cooked meal like this in. I can't remember how long. Your mama doesn't cook? Mama asks, surprised. My mother has a chef, Dominic says diplomatically. Mama snorts. A chef? Lord have mercy. Well, Aaliyah learned to cook from me, so at least you won't starve when you're married. I'm counting on it, Dominic says, smiling at me. After dinner, while I'm washing dishes, I hear Mama and Dominic talking in the living room. My daughter tells me you're paying for my medical care, Mama says bluntly. Yes, I don't accept charity. It's not charity. It's family taking care of family. We're not family yet. We will be. And even if we weren't, you're important to Aaliyah, which makes you important to me. There's a pause, and I peek around the corner to see Mama studying Dominic with those sharp eyes that see everything. You really love her, Mama finally says. It's not a question. More than anything. She's special, my Aaliyah. She's smart and strong and kind. She could have been bitter about growing up poor, about watching me struggle. But instead she just worked harder, dreamed bigger. She's the best thing I ever did with my life. She's the best thing that ever happened to mine, Dominic says quietly. Mama nods slowly. Okay then. You have my blessing. But if you hurt her? You'll hunt me down with that wooden spoon I saw in the kitchen, Dominic finishes, smiling. Damn right I will. Becoming a Hayes. The next few months are a whirlwind of transformation. Not of me, Dominic makes it very clear he doesn't want me to change, but of circumstances around me. I move into his penthouse, which still feels surreal. I have my own closet. My own closet. It's bigger than my childhood bedroom. Patricia takes me shopping for maternity clothes, and I have to physically stop her from buying out entire stores. You need options, she insists. I need like 5 outfits, I counter. I'm pregnant, not opening a boutique. But she's relentless, and eventually I give in because I'm learning that's sometimes easier than arguing. The strangest part is how the Hayes family starts to change around me. Richard starts asking my opinion on the foundation scholarship criteria, actually listening to my input about what low-income students need. Patricia volunteers at a homeless shelter, something I mentioned wanting to do, and seems genuinely moved by the experience. The siblings warm up too. Dominic's sister, Charlotte, becomes almost friendly, asking about my design work and actually looking at my portfolio. You're really talented, she says, sounding surprised. Did you think I wasn't? I ask, amused. I didn't think about it at all, she admits. Which was terrible of me. I'm sorry. Eleanor becomes my favorite person in the family. She's sharp and funny and doesn't take crap from anyone. You're shaking them up, she tells me one afternoon when we're having tea. This family has been stuck in their ways for generations. Patricia with her society rules, Richard with his business obsessions, the children with their entitlement. But you're showing them a different way. I'm not trying to change anyone, I say honestly. That's exact. Yes, you can. His forehead is pressed to mine, and he's crying too. You're the strongest person I know. You've worked 3 jobs, put yourself through school, dealt with my horrible family, you can do anything. Your family's not horrible anymore, I mutter, then scream as another contraction hits. That's because of you, he says. You made us better. You made Emmy better. Now show this baby how strong her mama is. And somehow, his words give me strength. The proposal, again. When Hope is 6 months old, Dominic proposes. Again. Officially this time. We're at the park near my old apartment, the place where I used to sit on my lunch breaks and dream about a different life. Hope is in her stroller, babbling at the clouds. Aaliyah, Dominic says, taking my hand. I asked you to marry me once before. In a coffee shop. When you were scared and alone and telling me you were pregnant. I remember, I say, smiling. But you never actually gave me an answer, he points out. You said yes to letting me be part of the baby's life, but you never said yes to marrying me. Because you were on your knees in a coffee shop acting crazy, I remind him. So let me ask again, he says, pulling out a ring box. Properly this time. The ring is perfect, a simple emerald surrounded by small diamonds. Not ostentatious. Not designed to show off wealth. Just us. Aaliyah Thompson, he says, his voice shaking. You came into my life pushing a cleaning cart, and you cleaned out all the darkness I'd been living in. You gave me hope when I'd given up. You gave me love when I'd forgotten what it felt like. You gave me a future when I thought I had none. Will you marry me? I'm crying. Of course I'm crying. Yes, I say, laughing through my tears. Yes, yes, 1,000 times yes. He slides the ring onto my finger, and it fits perfectly. Just like us. The wedding. We get married 6 months later, and it's perfect because it's ours. Not a society wedding. Not a small intimate affair. Something in between that represents both our worlds. The ceremony is at Eleanor's estate, with 100 guests, half from Dominic's world, half from mine. I walk down the aisle carrying Hope, because she's part of this union too. Mama walks on one side, Eleanor on the other. When I reach Dominic at the altar, his eyes are wet. You're so beautiful, he whispers. You're not so bad yourself, I whisper back. We wrote our own vows. I vow to see you, I tell him. Always. Not your money or your name or your position. Just you. The man who changes diapers at 3 a.m. The man who cries at insurance commercials. The man who makes me laugh even when I'm exhausted. I vow to love that man for the rest of my life. I vow to protect you, he says. Not because you need protecting, you're the strongest person I know. But because you deserve to feel safe. I vow to build you up, support your dreams, and make sure Hope grows up knowing her mother is a superhero. I vow to love you with everything I have, for all my days. There's not a dry eye in the place when we kiss. 2 years later. I'm sitting in the same hospital where Hope was born, staring at another positive pregnancy test. This should be impossible. The doctors said Hope was a 1 in a million miracle. That it would never happen again. But here I am. Pregnant. Again. When I tell Dominic, he doesn't cry this time. He laughs. Just laughs and spins me around and kisses me until we're both dizzy. Another miracle, he says in wonder. How did I get so lucky? We got lucky, I correct him. This pregnancy is different, easier in some ways, harder in others. But we navigate it together. And when our son is born, yes, a son, another medical impossibility, Dominic names him Gabriel. Because angels brought you to me, he says. And angels gave us our children. 5 years after that first night. I'm 26 now. 5 years from that night I spilled water on Dominic's desk and accidentally changed both our lives forever. I have a bachelor's degree in graphic design. I run a foundation that's helped thousands of students. I'm a wife and mother of 2 impossible children. But more than that, I'm still ME. I still visit my old neighborhood. Still shop at Target. Still make friends with cleaning staff wherever I go because I remember what it feels like to be invisible. The Hayes family has transformed too. Patricia volunteers at homeless shelters. Richard funds scholarships in Mama's name. The siblings who once looked at me with suspicion now genuinely love me. We're not perfect. We still have arguments and misunderstandings and moments where our different backgrounds clash. But we're real. And we're trying. And we love each other. The final scene. On our 5th anniversary, Dominic takes me back to Sterling Tech. Back to the top floor. Back to that office where everything began. I had them keep it exactly the same, he says, opening the door. The desk where I spilled water. The plant I was trying to save. The couch where we first made love. It's all there, preserved like a museum to our impossible beginning. This is where I fell in love with you, he says quietly. Where I learned that the most precious things in life can't be bought or inherited. They can only be given freely by people who love without conditions. I'm crying again. You're such a romantic. Only for you, he says, pulling me close. You taught me how to feel again. How to hope. How to love. You taught me the same things, I tell him. That I was worth more than I thought. That my dreams mattered. That I deserved to be seen. We stand there in that office, holding each other, remembering the impossible journey that brought us here. From invisible cleaner to invaluable wife. From infertile billionaire to father of two. From two lonely people to a family that shouldn't exist but does. I love you, I whisper. I love you more, he says. Impossible, I tease. Everything about us is impossible, he points out, laughing. But here we are anyway. And he's right. We're impossible. A miracle. A love story that defies logic and medicine and social barriers. But we're real. And we're here. And that's all that matters. Epilogue, the truth about miracles. Sometimes people ask me how it happened. How a poor girl from the South Side ended up married to a billionaire. How an infertile man ended up with 2 biological children. How 2 people from completely different worlds built something real. And I tell them the truth. It wasn't the pregnancy that made me valuable to the Hayes family. It was never about trapping anyone or getting lucky or being in the right place at the right time. It was about staying true to myself. About refusing to change who I was to fit someone else's world. About showing them, through actions, not words, that wealth isn't measured in bank accounts but in kindness, in integrity, in love given freely. The pregnancy was a miracle, yes. But the real miracle? That was 2 lonely people choosing to see each other. Really see each other. Past the cleaning cart and the expensive suit. Past the marble floors and the student debt. Past every barrier that should have kept us apart. And in that seeing, in that choosing, we found something more valuable than any fortune. We found home. The end. If this story touched your heart, remember this, you are already valuable. Your worth isn't determined by your job, your income, or your circumstances. The right person will see that, will see you, just like Dominic saw Aaliyah when everyone else looked right through her. Keep being yourself. Keep dreaming. Keep believing in the impossible. Because sometimes, against all odds, miracles really do happen.